Hey guys, how's it going? Aaron here again, back with AGB Cars for a bit of analysis on the third day of F1 preseason testing at Jerez. First of all, before we get into all the times and laps and everything, like we did on day 2, we're going to just talk about the general what happened and main points to take from the day, I suppose. So, something that I was going to mention in the previous days but forgot was that the cars sound significantly louder, which obviously is a fantastic sign because, you know, last year, 2014, the new V6 turbos came in, and, well, the main complaint anyway, was that they made no noise compared to the old 2.4 V8s. So that seems to have been fixed a little bit. They certainly are louder, especially the Honda. So something that may explain that is that the Honda maybe isn't as refined as the others. Sure, like you can go ahead and look up videos from the Jerez test, and you'll see and you'll hear how loud they are, and you can make up your own mind on that, I suppose. Another thing is that obviously on the third day there was a lot more laps completed by all of the teams. Obviously now they're starting to sort of get on top of the new cars and sort of be able now to sort of fine tune them and do what the testing is all about, really. Also, something that Bottas mentioned after he finished up yesterday on day 2 was that Williams had made a significant step forward. So, I mean, obviously, you know, we know that everyone really has made a step forward, but it's always good to hear that the first impressions of the car right out of the box is good. Then, on the contrary, McLaren looks really all over the place. We know they're really struggling with the new Honda engine. They can't get the grips with it at all. And it looks... I saw some footage from Jerez today, and the McLaren that was driven today by Alonso. It was a bit damp, but it was certainly all over the place, and it looks like the livery of the power, much like the Ferrari at the start of last year, is going to be a big problem because there is so much more torque. And of course, I suppose Honda doesn't have any experience of new F1 engines at all, so that's something. And Ferrari as well. Quite the opposite story. Kimi Räikkönen had his first day today, and he said it felt fantastically, and he's a lot happier than he was last year in it. And I suppose what this could mean is that the actual delivery of the power, like I was talking about with McLaren, has been vastly improved on the Ferrari, and that is something that Räikkönen certainly had issues with. It was the sort of twitchiness and unpredictability, I suppose, of the power delivery, and also under braking with the new fly-by-wire rear brakes. It was that kind of that he had trouble with coming to terms with, but now it seems that Ferrari have fixed a lot of that, and he's a lot happier in the car, which is a good sign. Another thing, the field is a lot closer. If you look at the times, like first through fifth, really is just over a second. So it shows that obviously the teams are starting to sort of run in terms of speed and not just find faults with the cars. It was quite wet today. It wasn't really wet, but it was damp sort of all day, which explains why the times aren't as quick as they were yesterday, where Sebastian Vettel did a 1:20.9. So, and then another final thing is that Christian Horner, the team principal of Red Bull, he made some comments about the new paint job, and of course it's camouflage livery that's on it now, and he said that although that livery isn't staying, which obviously would be kind of stupid, but the new paint job will not disappoint, and that it will be a new and stronger paint job than it was last year, which is something to look forward to. So let's move on to the actual testing today, and we're going to start with Sauber, because they topped the timesheets with Felipe Nasr. 109 laps completed, which is very good, and of course the fastest lap of the day on soft tyres, admittedly. Raikkonen was on the hards, so obviously it's not really, you can't draw anything again from the times. They don't really mean anything. But certainly Sauber looks strong, and the amount of laps completed certainly sort of points towards it being a reliable car. Also, a good reliable engine in the Ferrari engine, of course, that Sauber have. And the fact that both Sauber and Ferrari are kind of going straight into the quick lap times rather than focusing on reliability could mean that they're pretty confident, that Ferrari are pretty confident in that they have a strong engine. And of course, the Ferrari engine last year, as with the Renault, was no match for the Mercedes. So the fact that Sauber and Ferrari are pushing quite early on in the testing may mean that they're pretty happy in the terms of reliability of the engine, which is certainly a good sign in terms of challenging Mercedes. So Sauber's day, though, wasn't completely trouble-free. Nasr had a small spin in the early parts of the day that ended up in him being beached in the gravel traps and caused a red flag, the first of three. So that's it for Sauber. And then Ferrari, Raikkonen had his first day taking over from Sebastian Vettel, and again a pretty unproblematic day there with a good time and a good amount of laps. That points again towards it being a strong car, and of course the engine as well, as I mentioned with Sauber, looks strong. Then we move on to Mercedes. Again, fantastic mileage by Nico Rosberg, over 150 laps again, bringing the total up to, as near as makes no difference, 400 laps, which is astonishing. Which certainly shows that the reliability is their main focus, as kind of all they really want to do is find the faults now and fix them before they get into the actual season. So, and also today was the first time really they started to push as well in terms of laps, because that is a good time, bearing in mind it was quite damp. So only 4/10 of the Sauber. Then we go down to, actually no, we're going to stay on Mercedes for a second, because Rosberg did also cause a red flag today when they had what they called a engine shutdown, obviously preventing whatever the issue was from damaging the engine. So he had to stop on track, and so even with that and the loss of time and bringing the car back to the pits and then fixing what was wrong and then sending him back out, they still managed 151 laps, which is pretty astonishing. Then we move on to Williams, and Felipe Massa got his first outing in the FW37, taking over from his teammate Valtteri Bottas. So continuing the good work that his teammate left off, Bottas of course said that the Williams made significant steps forward, as did Massa, who said he was extremely happy with how the car felt on the track, which is another good sign. And a pretty good lap from Massa, and 71 laps completed, which isn't bad. Then Lotus, and Lotus seem to be, will probably be one of the most improved teams of this season, because, well, they can't really get worse than what they were in 2014 with the Renault engine. But I think now with the Mercedes engine, they're really starting to find their feet again, because of course that was a fantastic car in 2012 and 2013, and they even won 2 races with Kimi Raikkonen. So today kind of signified a bit of a comeback for them. 96 laps is fantastic, bearing in mind it's only the second day for them. So good amount of laps, and that's also with a kind of late start, because of a telemetry issues that they had in the morning. So then that's really all for Lotus. Then go down to Toro Rosso. Carlos Sainz in the car again. Lap time wasn't brilliant, but lap times don't mean anything, and we don't know what kind of fuel loads they're running. They're all set on different tires. Some don't try the fast tire, the softs, and so on. So the laps is really what's most important in testing, and 137 laps is brilliant for Toro Rosso with the Renault engine. That is the most amount of laps that a Renault engine has done this season in one day, and it's the second to Mercedes, of course. So they do look certainly a lot stronger in terms of reliability, because of course the Renault was kind of what weakened them, I suppose, and they're looking for a top 5 finish in the Constructors this year, which I wouldn't put past them. No real problems for them today, and they're actually showing like a lot more reliability than their big sister team Red Bull, which is a good sign. So then we go down to their big sister team Red Bull. Engine issues today. Ricciardo did manage to get 49 laps in after they were kind of fixed, but they were all short runs and not many long runs were completed. McLaren now is kind of an interesting one, because Alonso was in the car again today after Jensen left off yesterday. At the end of day 2, Jensen Button said they made a breakthrough in the engine, in the Honda engine, and well, that they certainly started off the morning well, doing a good few laps, some of which were long runs, about 10 laps. But then they had a water cooling pressure loss, so they had to sort of end their running of the session a little bit early, which obviously of course means that the reliability, I suppose, in the engine certainly isn't cracked at all. They still are having issues and probably will continue to for the foreseeable future. And then when they had the pressure cooling, the water pressure loss, then when they were in the garage, they took out the power unit as well to, as they said, inspect it. So obviously something was found there that they weren't quite happy with. So that's it for day 2, a bit of analysis there, and so tomorrow is the 4th day. No, sorry, day 3 was today, and that's kind of all the analysis I have now. And so tomorrow is day 4 and is the concluding day of the Jerez test. So I'll see you in the video for that. Like, comment, subscribe, all the usual stuff as always, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter, because you know you want to. Goodbye.